10 years. A lot has happened in the past decade. The world has changed. People have changed. Some things have gotten worse. Others better. One man can try to change things. Build something new. Sometimes, one man is not enough. Sometimes we need help. Sometimes we need to work together to make things better. Together is how we make things better. It's how we find success and do the impossible. It's how we go from impossible to possible. And right at the center of all this possibility is where you'll find the First Nations Northern Housing Conference. Because for 10 years, the conference has been helping First Nation housing professionals work together to do things, both ordinary and extraordinary, to make better communities and enhance the lives of the people who live there. They make the impossible come true every day. Matt Hopp of Ontario First Nations Technical Services Corporation stresses the importance of working together.
Importance, it's critical, I think, I don't know about you, but strength, and there's much more strength in numbers rather than individuals, right? So if you have individual First Nation or Tribal Council trying to hammer away at an issue, there's much more opportunity and strength and expertise and experience when there's more groups of the same issues combined in one area and one conference. And I think it's an opportunity that brings tenfold the potential.
And it all started with a single, simple vision. In March of 1999, in the small northern Ontario community of Sioux Lookout, the Shibogama First Nations Council gathered and discussed the issues surrounding the gaps in quality housing in Northern First Nations. They identified a lack of advocacy and education for the peoples impacted by these gaps and the lack of capacity within the communities to address these issues. The lack of quality housing was a crisis, and current solutions were not adequate. They introduced an idea, a revolutionary experiment, a simple idea that no one had thought of. Why not bring together builders, bankers, industry, government, and the leadership of remote First Nations communities to talk about and work on the housing challenges faced by Northern First Nation communities and their housing professionals? People, government, and industry from outside these communities could learn what the challenges were in developing affordable and efficient quality homes, and in turn, how to help these communities deal with this growing problem now and in the future. How could the housing professionals and people of these Northern First Nations communities help themselves? Simple. Just bring them together to talk and learn. The evolution had begun. Soon, this simple idea attracted attention throughout Northern Ontario, then the whole province, and even across the country. Starting from a simple idea in the north, the First Nations Northern Housing Conference has developed into the largest housing conference for First Nations by First Nations in Canada.
The First Nations Northern Housing Conference, it's grown dramatically from how it started. Originally, it was something that was done out of our office for a handful, maybe 10 or 12 builders from the five Shibogama communities, and from there it grew and grew to include the tribal councils and their communities in the Sioux Lookout area, and then it grew into becoming the regional event that it is now. I think the first year we did it regionally in Thunder Bay was 2003, and from there we've grown from just over 100 delegates up to I think last year there was over 200. It's changed so much. The quality of the event is it's grown to match the popularity.
The First Nations Northern Housing Conference has become successful by putting itself in the very best position to serve the original goal of quality housing for all.
It's not just the people in the tribal councils who think this is a good thing. We've got people in government, in crown corporations like the CMHC, Health Canada. They're all involved, have been involved for the whole of it, and just keep reinvesting in it. We've got people from the communities who, as soon as the one's over, they're asking when the next one is and what's going to be happening.
In February of 2003, a consortium of Northern First Nations tribal councils came together to launch the inaugural First Nations Northern Housing Conference. This event fosters the idea given birth by Shibogama Tribal Council years before and can claim its success based on the simple concept, helping First Nations communities help themselves. The Northern Housing Conference provides opportunities for delegates and leaders from Northern First Nations to meet with vendors, network with colleagues, and most importantly, educate themselves on how to solve their housing challenges. The event's success has been recognized beyond Northern Ontario and continues to receive accolades from delegates, industry, and government on a local, provincial, and even national level. The event's success is due to the passion of the delegates, the commitment of the Northern Tribal Councils, the participation of industry, and support of core funding partners such as Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, Aboriginal Affairs, and Northern Development Canada. Kathy Campbell, District Manager, CMHC, reflects on CMHC's participation over the years.
We're very pleased to be here, to be a partner again. We've been involved with this conference now for 9 years, and we think it's a wonderful opportunity to get the Northern First Nation communities together, to talk, to network, to learn from each other, to share best practices, and to learn about new technologies, new opportunities, and new suppliers and materials.
Delegates, sponsors, and presenters experience the true value of the conference and reflect on what it means to their businesses and communities.
The Northern Housing Conference is phenomenal. From the suppliers, the vendors, and the trade show, and the topics that they bring into a lot of these northern communities. They bring in the energy efficiency, the conservation, new technologies, anything that is going to help northern communities in their housing.
I like that part about this conference is it's really technical and it's down to the grassroots.
The strength of this kind of conference is bringing all these groups of tribal councils, First Nations together in one place and kind of discussing networking, providing innovative information sessions, and just sharing a lot of good information.
As a sponsor, I think it's a great opportunity for you to get out there, put your face to your name, network with all your customers. There's a lot of changeover in First Nation communities, so you're not always dealing with the same person. People like to know who they're dealing with, besides just being on the phone or having an email.
In the last 10 years, the First Nations Northern Housing Conference has trained over 1,500 members of remote First Nations in the art of quality home building and maintenance. By doing so, it has given the people of the North the freedom and power to improve their lives. The conference delivers key networking and learning opportunities to build the housing capacity of Northern First Nations.
All new technologies coming out there. This is a perfect venue for the various communities to get this information, to take back to the communities, to share this with the people that are building, share this with the people that are developing, whether it be chief and council, the contractor, or even the homeowner.
Lots of builders and sellers and suppliers, and then we get everything all in one little place, and we can show it to all these different communities, all these important members of communities. And it's really important for them to be able to, build better houses, more affordable houses, cleaner houses, everything.
I saw at the beginning, this is probably my 9th year coming here. I really like interacting with other First Nations. I pay attention to the messages that I hear. A lot of the sort of social gatherings that just as our conference allows us to do. It gives us an opportunity to share amongst one another, so that hopefully in the sharing we're able to learn from one another.
One of the most popular aspects of the First Nations Northern Housing Conference is the Builders Challenge, a teaching competition that allows hands-on learning opportunities in a fun, competitive setting. This segment is hosted by home improvement celebrity Jan Eeks, who sees the importance of this activity.
It gets more and more fun as we're going. Everybody gets involved, gets participating, and what I really like is to see that they're not just there for the fun of the competition. They're actually trying to learn things. And I really get this feeling that so many of them are getting in, trying to understand why that detail. To me, that's satisfying. It lets me work on detail. It lets me work on the important stuff that will stop your house from rotting down and all of this.
Along with the Builders Challenge, the First Nations Northern Housing Conference also recognizes excellence in First Nations housing achievements through the Community Housing Innovation Showcase Awards program. This awards program annually recognizes innovations and achievements in First Nations communities, showcasing improvements in housing quality and community capacity. But there's still more opportunity out there. More chances to improve First Nations people's everyday lives, improve communities, and have more people join us to benefit from the value the First Nations Northern Housing Conference has to offer.
The word sort of capacity building. Well, I'm a believer in that. You know, what we do today is for today. And the benefits of what we do will mainly benefit those members that are residing within our communities. But we always got to remember that we're here for a short time. Capacity building ensures that our youth should be a key part of a lot of these conferences. How else are we going to pass our knowledge we have today to give to our youth to ensure that what we taught of today will continue and be improved by our youth?
Delegates are coming, I think, with more and more of an open mind always. If they're walking away with stuff they can use, that's really valuable.
So as we look toward the future, we remember how we started, as a simple idea to give people better homes and to make their lives a little better. Let's look to the future together and spread the success of the First Nation Northern Housing Conference to all communities.
Put the message out there that if this First Nation can do it, can build this kind of project, anybody can do it. It's not limited to location. It's not limited to certain First Nations. Any First Nation can do this.
Keep on attending, keep learning, keep bringing back the info to the community and share it.
There's a lot of things that you can do when you bring yourself to do things, like every First Nations. And a lot of times, a lot of people get told, oh, you can't do that. But, you know, deep in your heart, you know, it can be done. If you got the will, you got the heart, and you can do anything you want.
I really think the First Nations has an opportunity to show the rest of us how to do this right.
Don't stop. You hit a roadblock, you either go around it, over it, under it, or you tear it down. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as you get through it and you overcome that challenge. And through a lot of hard work and perseverance, and if we all work collectively, great things will happen, and they will continue to advance the way they've been doing right now. So I think it's a huge opportunity. First Nations can do it. I think sometimes we kind of forget, don't give ourselves enough credit that we can do it. So I think we just gotta put those little bit of fears aside there and just move ahead and keep advancing.
I think that there's starting to be a real switch, and the information isn't coming just from technical service providers to the First Nations. And I think more and more we're going to see the information coming from First Nation going to First Nation.
As I always say, without this conference, things that are happening in my community is a result of this conference.